Classical deterministic closure dictates that given exact initial conditions, all future physical states are uniquely and unalterably fixed. Quantum mechanics replaces this deterministic architecture with statistical closure. The mathematical formalism dictates overarching probability distributions, but refuses to determine which exact outcome will actualize. This openness is a structural gap in reality and the exact location where consciousness exercises its causal role in the physical universe. Despite this structural openness, the interaction between mind and matter is not a free parameter. Mathematical proofs rigorously dictate and bound the exact nature of this interface. Consciousness does not override or break physical laws. It must operate within a strictly defined mathematical corridor that analysis will now chart. The first boundary of the mathematical corridor is the principle of probability uniqueness. Mathematical proofs demonstrate the Born rule is the absolute, unique, and only consistent probability rule for quantum states. This animated diagram shows a geometric Galton board sorting system where falling particles strictly aggregate into a precise squared amplitude curve. This law prevents consciousness from reshaping overarching ensemble statistics or altering the mathematical curve of probability. A conscious agent can only bias which specific outcome actualizes from the available possibilities within that established curve. Any wholesale manipulation or reshaping of these quantum probabilities is mathematically forbidden. Any proposed consciousness physics interface must be strictly Born rule compliant, preventing violations of standard statistical mechanics. The second boundary of the corridor is geometric integrity. The strict no-signaling principle dictates that entangled systems cannot transmit information to distant parts faster than light speed. This animated diagram displays a geometric vector representation of a Hilbert space inner product, showing orthogonal vectors locked rigidly into place. Mathematical proofs dictate the no-signaling principle uniquely enforces the standard Hilbert space inner product. The unfinishable maps dictate requires consciousness to respect this geometry. The mind must operate within the space and not reshape it. The final boundary consists of second-order limits. Mathematical analysis proves that the Born rule demands an absolute absence of third-order interference. This animated diagram shows wave ripples passing through three distinct slits, mapping out exclusively pairwise interference patterns. This visual highlights the complete absence of a third-order wave combination, as quantum probability is strictly second-order in its mathematical structure. If consciousness introduced higher-order interference pathways to select an outcome, it would break this law and be empirically detectable. Probability uniqueness, geometric integrity, and second-order limits construct a narrow corridor through which any consciousness interaction must pass. Analysis must now evaluate the specific formal frameworks that attempt to map a mechanism navigating this tight corridor. Orthodox Hilbert space models postulate that mental effort stabilizes physical neural patterns through continuous probing, known as the quantum Zeno effect. While parsimonious, this approach fails to define the mathematical transfer function and does not explain how coherence survives in warm neural tissue. This animated diagram shows a dispersed wave function undergoing continuous, localized collapse, specifically biased toward clusters of densely connected geometric information nodes. Integrated information models propose a modified continuous stochastic collapse equation, where information density forces localization. The limitation is that the mathematical bridge linking discrete classical information metrics to continuous quantum spaces remains underspecified. Experience space formalisms grant the experiential domain its own independent mathematical autonomy, supporting a dualist framework. Non-commutative algebraic models prove that cognitive operations exhibit quantum-like formal properties. The unfinishable maps position dictates that this shared algebraic structure between mind and matter is evidence of a shared underlying origin. While these frameworks successfully formalize either the physical or experiential boundaries, analysis shows that none provide the complete functional bridge between them. Despite the precise boundaries of the corridor, a structural void remains at the center of the physical interaction. The exact mathematical coupling operator that maps phenomenal experiential states to physical biases is currently missing. There is no agreed mathematical equation to represent consciousness choosing one specific outcome over another. This absence highlights the concept of interpretive asymmetry in physics. Consciousness involving interpretations face heavy skepticism, unlike interpretations that invent unseen multiverses, despite both being empirically equivalent. The unfinishable map's position dictates that preferring interpretations that completely exclude consciousness reflects a methodological habit, not evidential superiority.